Hello buddy, Andy here again. Well, I've watched several videos recently, both on YouTube and on Vloggerheads as it happens, about this whole thing about leaving a video behind, about making a death video or doing it like a last will and testament and leaving it behind so that people can watch it in the event of your death, you know, which is inevitable, isn't it? And lots of talk about that, and I've mentioned this sort of thing before about how we're leaving sort of a digital memory bank behind, or we're creating one, should I say, and we're leaving one behind. But for the first time today on the radio, on the BBC this morning, on a news programme, I actually heard them talking about this sort of subject, just publicising a particular programme which is on the radio very shortly, and various different aspects of it, and it's something that's to do with helping people preserve their memory, even for like people with Alzheimer's and that sort of thing, so they're losing their memory unfortunately through an illness or whatever, a condition, whatever it is. I don't know exactly what it's classed as, but they were also talking about other people, and Peter Gabriel, the singer, ex-singer of Genesis, who's now sort of involved in lots of different multimedia ideas, and I think he even had a music sharing site and things like that. He's getting into this, and he's trying to create a site apparently which is sort of clubbing all these things together. It's going to be like a social networking site for the dead. yeah, I know what you're thinking. But as I've said before, this is really what we're doing. And this is one of those things when actually other people, and I actually was talking about it to my wife, I said, well, hang on a minute. They're talking about this as though it's something completely revolutionary, something that's completely new, and yet we're doing it here. We've been doing it here on YouTube or on Vloggerheads or whatever, or any of these other sites for that matter. Especially on YouTube, we've been doing it for a couple of 3 years now, or potentially we're creating this thing. Some people are actually doing it in a more structured way, I suppose, by putting more and more things up there. We've got places like Flickr where people are leaving their photographs and things, and probably other places as well. But I suppose what Peter Gabriel's idea is actually to create one site, but you could create a channel, couldn't you, on YouTube, Vloggerheads, or wherever it might be, and just use that as like your history channel, and maybe you could have that channel that would do that. I've actually thought about that. I actually sort of did a bit of a planning about that some time ago and never actually followed it through. But this is another one of those examples of other people not really realising what we're doing. You know, I said this before about vloggers never being understood and being thought of as a bit strange and different, and no one really knows what's going on here. But here's other people talking about something that we've been doing for a number of years. As I said before in other videos, we can all probably think of people that have died, who've been on YouTube or whatever, who've been on the internet, whose channels are quite possibly still there, and their life, whatever, or their YouTube life or whatever, is actually preserved for all eternity until someone sort of deletes that account or takes that account down. So that's what we're doing. So if we were to create our own, you know, a structured thing where we put bits up there, we can put things up there, and even say, you know, in the event of my death, put some of these up there, because I think the Peter Gabriel site was talking about sort of having birthday wishes from beyond the grave, which is a bit spooky and a bit strange to me. And actually, I say, talking to my wife, and she thought that the whole idea of making videos, like as I said, people have done, and putting them up there in the event of their death, before their death, or even afterwards. As she said, I can't imagine watching, say, one that I did, and watching it afterwards. I said, but it's no different to looking through old photograph albums. We've got photographs, as you probably have at home, of sort of long dead relatives that are posted up because it's a memory of them, it's something to remind you of them, and that's why we do it. We have those photographs out there. People carry them around, don't they, in little lockets or whatever it might be. They keep things on their phone. We all have personal memories. It might be your children's photographs, but it's the same sort of thing. You know, people who have long gone, who you don't see anymore, your parents, whatever it might be, friends even. It's no different. And when I put it that way, she said, well, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. It's just that people don't get the video idea of it. I think we all look at photographs, and we all hear even voice recordings, old cine films even. But to actually do it for a reason, I think that's the difference. When we take these photographs in the past, when we've taken old cine films and video and things like that, it was just a little snapshot. We weren't consciously doing it possibly to keep it preserved for the future. And there was another guy they were talking about, a sort of social scientist, I think, and what he's doing this purposely. He's creating this site for himself, or this service or something, where he's actually digitizing his life. He's actually thinking about this and doing it in a structured way. But as I said, they're catching up, aren't they? All these people are playing catch up. If only they were to explore a bit more, they'd realise that they're not that revolutionary. We were the revolutionaries, we are the revolutionaries, and we have been for a number of years now. So, you know, where YouTube goes, you know, other people follow eventually when they actually realise what's going on underneath the surface. They scratch the surface and they actually find there's actually some substance underneath all that dross at the top. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.